Give me one moment to get the live chat set up so that I'll be able to see what you all are talking about so that we can have a discussion. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only. I saw Thor Ragnarok a little while ago, and I would like to talk with you all, do a spoiler talk / discussion kind of thing. You guys can ask me questions about the film, and as I said, it's a spoiler talk, so I'm completely open with anything. Any questions that you have, I'll be free to answer. Yo, Kirby, welcome to the stream. As I was just saying, I'm getting the live chat set up so I'll be able to talk with all you guys and we'll be able to have a discussion. Feel free to ask me any questions you have about the Thor Ragnarok film. This is a spoiler-filled video, so I am willing to answer any questions you have about the movie. And if you're worried about spoilers, you definitely want to avoid this video. If not, feel free to ask me anything. I have like specific topics that I would like to talk about, but if you want like more information, feel free to hit me up. Kirby said, I'll need to look something up before I ask my question. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, this is more of like an open discussion forum like about the film, whether you've seen it or not. Feel free to ask me questions about the movie. Feel free to like pretty much just ask me questions. It's more like a ask me anything with the topic of Thor Ragnarok with knowledge that I will spoil the film. I will be giving out details, especially based on like the questions I'm asked. Make sure that if you like to see videos like this in the future that you smash that like button. I truly appreciate it, and it shows me that this is the kind of content that you enjoy. But when it comes to my general thoughts on Thor Ragnarok, I enjoyed the film. It's definitely a sci-fi fantasy kind of movie, and that's a big thing that Marvel has been doing recently, not just superhero films, but films within a genre that happen to have superheroes in them. And I feel like Thor Ragnarok really does fall into that category. It is not just straight up a superhero movie as much as it is a sci-fi fantasy as well as just straight up fantasy superhero film. Also, thank you for smashing that like button. Truly appreciate it. Oh, Kirby said, okay, here it comes. Kratos said, I'm not here for the spoilers. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm just here to yell at you for there not being a Nexus stream. And then Kratos says, so, blah, 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 yell, yell, good night. Have a great night, Kratos. It's good to have you. So, continuing on, I did really enjoy the film. I wouldn't say it's like the best Marvel movie or anything like that, but there was definitely a good amount of action and murder. I think that is really like the pull-in for me. Now you may be like, action and murder, you know, this isn't Kingsman, but that was actually what I was thinking about. I was thinking about that a lot. So the first Kingsman film has like a lot of murder in it, and then the second Kingsman film, I'm not gonna say didn't have a lot of murder in it, but it didn't hit the same level of like all out just like people dying, right? Just left and right. And I feel like Thor Ragnarok really hit it with the murder. There was just a good amount of it. Just a ton of murder. Scavenger said, greetings and salutations. Yo, Scavenger, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you and your catchphrase. Don't forget to smash that like button to show your support. Ladies Man FaZe said, yo, brother. Yo, Ladies Man FaZe, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. But there are scenes where Hela is just going left and right, just killing like tons of enemies, right? And Hela's whole thing is that like she makes weapons. She shoots weapons out of her hand. She can make weapons like shoot out of the ground, and they just made that broken as fuck. I don't understand how they made making weapons so good. She doesn't even make guns. She always makes like daggers and like blade type weapons. But she's like hella menacing, and she just dicks on everything. Scavenger says, I get it back to back with the catchphrase. Scavenger said, but I'm gonna have to leave because I did not realize that this has spoilers. Oh no, I tried to make it like as clear as possible. I'm sorry, Scavenger. I guess I could change up the title and put spoilers at the beginning and end of the title of the video, so that it's spoilers, Thor Ragnarok spoilers. The Scavenger said, I should have read quicker. No problem, Scavenger, it's fine. I'll definitely, like, change that up. I'll open it in a new tab. Scavenger said it was my fault. Oh, no, you're good, dude. So I'm going to go to info and settings, because I'm able to do this while it's live, which is really interesting. And I'll highlight spoilers, I'll copy it, then I'll move it to the front. Now it's in the front and the back. Spoilers, Thor Ragnarok spoilers. Now I need to get it back to the live control room, so I'll be able to see what everyone's saying in the chat. Boom, boom, boom. Waiting for my computer to load. Brum, 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 brum. It has to save the changes. Boom, 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 boom. Also, thank you for smashing that like button, Scavenger. Truly appreciate it. Let me hit the show live chat messages. Let's see. So, Kirby said in Norse mythology, Ragnarok is a series of future events leading to the fall of Odin and the other gods, ultimately ruining the planet with water, and then later land rising anew. Kirby said, did that happen? Ragnarok was not the end of the earth in Thor Ragnarok, it was the end of Asgard. And Asgard is not flooded. Instead, a giant flaming demon beast that Thor fights at the beginning of the film, who is like an enemy at the beginning of the film, ends up being more or less who defeats the main villain of the film by the end. Yo, Vanessa Brooks, welcome to the stream. Spoiler warning, this whole thing is spoilers. I'm actually describing the end of the movie as we speak. Don't forget to smash that like button, but if you're trying to avoid spoilers, this is spoiler-filled. Tons of spoilers. Just a bunch of spoilers. Thank you for smashing that like button. Truly appreciate it. But yeah, it's the end of Asgard. Like, Asgard is destroyed by this flaming, like, devil beast character that Thor defeats at the beginning of the film, and then by the end of the film they realize that they actually need that devil beast to destroy Asgard, because it would be the only way to, like, defeat Hela. Hela is Thor's sister. Thor and Loki's sister. Well, Loki's adopted, but whatever. And the idea is that Hela draws her power from Asgard. So if Asgard is still, like, there, then Hela's power just continues to flow. And Odin went as far as to say that while she's in Asgard, her power is limitless, meaning that, like, she could just dick on everything. So you may be wondering, how does someone of limitless power be beaten by someone who doesn't have limitless power? You could argue that, hey, you know, the idea was that they destroyed Asgard, and Asgard is her source of limitless power, so if Asgard is destroyed, then she's no longer limitless, so that she can get dicked on. One thing that was interesting is that the flaming devil beast character or whatever that defeats Hela, he actually is born from the eternal flame or whatever. So the eternal flame is this fire that never goes out. And what you do is you put his crown into the fire, and then when you throw his crown into the fire, he gains the power of the eternal flame. So he essentially became like a limitless level being in his own right, because he's like an embodiment of the eternal flame. So they needed like another really super powerful, like, dick-on character to dick on Hela. So I feel like it was balanced, because if Thor was to have beaten her, it would have been dumb. Thor... It's hard to argue whether or not Thor should be able to beat Hela, but I'll try. I'll try to argue that. Kirby said, that's a Superman-level being. He said, holy crap. I mean, Hela was pretty powerful. Hela versus Superman, I would have to argue that, like, Hela would probably dick on, let's say, cinematic universe. If we said, like, DCEU Superman versus MCU Hela dicks on him so hard. Her feats are just better. I know that DCEU Superman tanked, like, a nuke and everything. I mean, he still got fucked up by the nuke, but the sunlight, like, fixed him or whatever, right? But, by the way, sorry for me suddenly pulling in DC stuff. Just consider the spoilers for everything. Spoilers for reality. So, I think Hela could dick on Superman from the DCEU. At least that's my opinion. Because her powers, I believe, are magic-based. Now, could Thor beat Hela? Well, that goes into spoilers that involve like Thor specifically. So Thor's hammer is destroyed. Woo! If you saw the trailer, you knew that Thor's hammer was gonna get fucked. But one thing that the trailers don't show is that Thor gets his God moment. Now, if you're wondering what is a quote-unquote God moment, we have actually seen a few God moments this year, actually. Peter Quill had a God moment earlier this year in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, to which Peter Quill learned that he's just straight up a demigod and that he had God powers. Wonder Woman had a God moment at the end of her film as well, to which she essentially realizes that she's just straight up a god, and she also just learns that she's like a demigod or whatever, and then her powers activate. Thor, his is weird because unlike the other two where they realize they're demigods, Thor just kind of is like, oh, I'm the god of thunder, but I never really capitalize on it. And his Odin dies, and like Ghost Odin is like, Thor, you're not the god of hammers, you're the god of thunder, and the hammer it has never been the source of your power, it's just been a focus of your power, a way for you to like concentrate your ability or whatever, right? And then Thor like focuses on like the death of his father or whatever, and it gives him the ability to tap into like his inner power and then use that to like try and dick on Hela. But the way that Thor described it is that like he did the most powerful lightning blast that he had ever done on Hela, and it didn't phase her. So I would argue that Hela should just dick on Thor, but it's hard to argue because Thor legitimately is like, I just now finally have like full control of my ability, and I haven't had too much practice with it, and I like just getting your power shouldn't make you on level with someone else who has had their power their whole life. Hela, her whole thing is that before Thor was born, her and Odin were like conquering all the realms or whatever. It was during a time before Odin became a benevolent ruler. So like Odin's main thing was like, let's fuck everything up and control everything. And Hela was all about that. That's how she was raised. So when Odin decides, I don't want to dick on everyone and I don't want to like conquer all the realms, Hela's like, what do you mean you don't want to conquer all the realms? That's literally my life. And then she is imprisoned by Odin. So when Odin dies, his power is no longer locking her away. So then she is freed and blah 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 the film. So Hela having like helped Odin conquer all these realms and everything, and helped like push his conquest, being able to dick on Thor and being able to tank Thor's like most powerful lightning blast after Thor finally kinda has a hold on his powers, I think is totally fair. She should be much more powerful than Thor, so it makes sense that she is much more powerful than Thor. Kirby said, was the fire creature named Surtur? Surtur. Let me Google it. I didn't see like how his name was spelled, I only like heard it. That looks right. That looks right. Yep, and I'm seeing all the things that are like Norse mythology. Yep. See, I'm gonna type in Thor Ragnarok with Surtur. Yep. That's him. That's the guy. So, the idea that Surtur could dick on Hela actually helps us create a pretty solid tier list, because we know that Thor is weaker than Hela. We know that Surtur with the Eternal Flame is stronger than Hela. So we have Surtur as top tier, Hela as like mid tier, and then Thor as bottom tier. If you want to like tier them that way, I think that's fair. And Hela tries to go hard against Surtur, but Surtur just ends up dicking on her and also destroying all of Asgard. So, yeah, I would say that Surtur is top tier for Thor Ragnarok. Hulk is also in Thor Ragnarok, but it's arguable that Hulk and Thor are like near close to each other. Kirby said Thor has no powers except the Force. In this film, they gave Thor the full-on storm treatment, so he can like manipulate lightning. and he uses it in really interesting ways. So not only does he like make lightning around his fist when he punches things, but he can shoot lightning blast. He can slam against the ground and release like pulses of lightning as he like falls. He can make lightning descend from the sky and hit his enemies as he's fighting his enemies normally. It's very similar to how Thor has used his hammer in the past, and not only in the past but earlier on in the film. One of the first scenes we see in the film involves Thor whooping a ton of ass fighting Surtur's like demons, and while he's facing off against these creatures, there's a scene where he throws his hammer and his hammer's continually circling him, hitting demons like in the perimeter, and any demons that make it through the hammer circle, Thor just hits with his fist, right? So he does similar shit by making the lightning fall from the sky, hitting these undead Asgardian soldiers that he's fighting, as he faces off against the ones that are like closer to him. I feel like Thor losing his hammer but gaining control over his like godlike lightning abilities was fair, and I do feel like he truly does develop his powers over time, and you see his progression from just making lightning sparkles from his hands to being able to do all these fantastic crazy things. Doctor Strange also appears in this film, and I'm trying to figure out where Doctor Strange and Hulk fall on that tier list that I did earlier. Being able to say that Surtur is top tier, Hela is mid tier, and Thor is bottom tier only works when those are like the only three characters you're talking about. So, so when you throw Hulk in, I would say that Hulk is probably bottom tier with Thor. I couldn't really see Hulk beating Hela. Hela was a little too powerful for Hulk. Hulk fought Hela's dog. Like, if that tells you anything. Like, he didn't fight Hela directly for real. So, I think Hulk would get dicked on. I think the fight between Hulk and Thor, which is a legitimate fight, Kirby said Hulk can beat Thor. We've seen it before. You gotta go with cinematic universe, Kirby. And this was the first, like, I would argue, real fight between Hulk and Thor. We've seen them fight before, but we haven't seen them fight recently until now. Kirby said, fuck that. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it seems like Thor and Hulk were, like, really close in this film. Like, not close as in, like, bonding, but, like, in their fight. Like, in their legitimate fight. Thor only really goes down because he gets, like, he has this thing connected on his neck that, like, shocks and paralyzes him at the same time or whatever. So, Thor was about to dick on Hulk a little bit, and then his paralysis neck thing goes off, and then Thor just kind of, like, collapses. So, the Hulk then jumps into the sky, hella high, and comes down on Thor with a fist, and that's kind of game. But Thor was, like, unfairly, like, taken down, and it seemed like that fight could have gone for an extended period of time. And Thor and Hulk have a fight where Hulk can legitimately, like, hit Thor. I mean, fuck. Thor can legitimately hit Hulk and knock Hulk, like, through the air and into walls, and Hulk, like, scrapes into the walls and shit. Like, their strength levels are, like, on par. They can do a lot of interesting shit. We finally got to see a dead Hulk moment, by the way. And you may be like, dead Hulk moment, what do you mean? So there's this... Oh, here we go, we're back. Kirby said, World Breaker Hulk, bitch. I mean, hey, will we get it in the cinematic universe? Will it happen? And he just turns into Hulk, and Hulk spits the bullet out. But they're making it seem like MCU Hulk can't die. Like, if Bruce Banner was to die in any way, that he would just kind of become the Hulk, and then it doesn't matter. And I want to do a whole video on, like, characters who, for some reason, are really good, only because if they were to get dicked on, they wouldn't die. And Kirby's like, Omnitrix failsafe, anyone? And I'm glad you brought that up. So we have Ben 10, who has the Omnitrix failsafe, to where if he were to die, he just turns into, like, the best alien for the situation automatically. So not his best alien, period, because that would just be someone who would just manipulate reality and then like nothing would happen. But just the best alien to handle whatever's going on. Then you have Hulk in the MCU, where it seems like whenever the Hulk would die, he instead, well, not the Hulk, because that's going a little bit too far. Bruce Banner, if Bruce Banner ever were to die, he just turns into the Hulk. So it's not that the Hulk can't die in the MCU, but if Bruce Banner were to die, he just becomes the Hulk. I mean, falling from the sky and just crashing into the ground at full speed, that's not really being angry. That's just being dead as fuck. Like, you're not conscious enough to be angry. You're not. He was too fucked. He was too fucked. But Hulk just makes him not fucked. Recently, I haven't done a video on this yet, Booster Gold in Justice League Action revealed that his suit has a built-in mechanism where if he were to die, well, if he was going to die, a time portal opens and he just moves through time instead. He was eaten by a T-Rex. Like, a dinosaur legit just, like, consumes him. And instead of Booster Gold dying, a portal opens and Booster Gold just travels through time instead of being eaten by the dinosaur. So if Booster Gold was to, like, get shot, or, like, if he was supposed to be cut in half, or, like, any other bullshit, he would just... His suit, not even him, his suit has a failsafe that just makes a time portal, and then he gets the fuck out. And the best part about that is that, like, Booster Gold versus a lot of people, Booster Gold wins only because if you were to kill him, or try to kill him, his suit would activate, he would travel back in time, and then because he's traveling through time, he could go to, like, a time where you weren't as powerful as you are now, and then he could dick on you then. Like, that's how that would work. And Booster Gold just, like, shoots laser blast or whatever, like in Justice League Action. He doesn't do a lot of special stuff. So, shooting lasers and traveling through time, whenever you would get dicked on, are, like, really good. Like, Booster Gold's really broken in Justice League Action, because what do? You won't kill him. I know what you won't do. You know what I mean? Like, Kirby said, well, that would screw time up, so he may not do that. I don't know, Kirby. The whole plot of that episode is that Booster Gold went back in time after watching Jurassic Park, and he brought a bunch of dinosaurs from the past to the present, and he placed them on an island because he essentially wanted to make Jurassic Park a real thing. So Justice League Action Booster Gold would totally fuck up time. He actually has no problem fucking up time as long as he doesn't think that it matters. And you may be like, well, dicking on your enemy matters, not to Booster Gold, who didn't think that moving time dinosaurs to the fucking present mattered. You know, like, Booster Gold in Justice League Action is irresponsible, but because of that, he'd be more willing to use time travel to dick on you than someone who actually was responsible with their time travel ability. So I think Booster Gold would do that. I know this is very off topic from Thor Ragnarok, but at the same time, not really, because Hulk failsafe. That was the connection. So, Thor losing his hammer, I feel like in the trailer, they showed the same exact scene, but the woman is in a different location. It doesn't look like she's in the field, in the trailer. At least it didn't seem like it. Could have sworn that shit happens in an alleyway in the trailer, but in the film it happens, like, in a cliffside grassy field. Fuck, what am I thinking about? There were a lot of interesting characters in Thor Ragnarok, because it goes for the whole fantasy sci-fi feel. And I do have, like, a few people who I really enjoyed. There's a rock guy who's really nice, and he's, like, an alien gladiator who does, like, smaller fights. He's kind of like a slave to Jeff Goldblum's character or whatever, who's called the Grandmaster, and he's forced to fight in, like, arena combat. But he wanted to start a revolution, and he was really friendly, and he has a few interesting jokes, and he even makes a rock, paper, scissors joke and shit like that. He's the closest thing that we have to the Thing in the MVCU right now. So that's interesting. Also, did I just call it the MVCU? It's the MCU. Um, but I really liked his character. I can't remember the name of him for the life of me, but I thought he was cool. And so was the weird spider sidekick that he had, who had blades for hands. He was cool too. It was legitimately like rock and scissors together. So I thought those were really cool. Kirby said Korg. Uh, Dang, Kirby with the Google. Now I'm Googling it. Interesting, if you type in Korg straight up, the first thing that you get is Korg's Gadget Music Production app is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Kirby said Google for the win. Yep, that's my boy Korg. So yeah, Korg was fun. I really liked Korg's character. Is Korg straight out of Planet Hulk? Now that I'm thinking about it. Because once I saw his comic book version, I was like, yo, your boy's looking familiar. I don't know. I wonder, is Korg straight up from Planet Hulk? I want to know. This is also worth a Google. When you just click Google Images and not actually Wiki. Let's go. Oh, the Marvel Universe website. You don't get more official than that. Except they haven't upgraded his power grid, so Korg is listed as being mentally challenged right now on this webpage. Let's see. I need his appearances, please. When did he appear? I want to know more about my boy Korg. Shout out to my boy Korg. First appearance, unidentified, Journey into Mystery number 83. As Korg in Incredible Hulk number 93. Well, fuck me, that doesn't tell me specifics. But I imagine that Korg existed before Planet Hulk. Excuse me. But I don't know. I don't know anything more about him. Other than I really enjoyed him in the film. But I was surprised to see that his images really do have that gladiator feel to him. For the official, like, Marvel Universe wiki image, even. So good on you, Korg. Korg is probably my favorite new character from this film, I'd have to say. Oh, also the Eternal Flame can just bring things back to life. But it does it in a weird way. Hela's giant dog, like her giant wolf, can be brought back to life by the Eternal Flame. And it just looks normal. It just looks like a giant wolf, like reanimated. Whereas, the Asgardian soldiers who had died, when they're brought back to life, they just kind of become skeletal people. Like, they didn't look normal anymore. I don't know. Maybe, like, if you get taxidermied, when you get the Eternal Flame, you just come back. But otherwise, no. Also, too bad the Eternal Flame is gone. It was really powerful. Not only did it make Suitor strong enough to be able to just destroy Asgard, but it also was something where you could just grab a handful of Eternal Flame, blow that shit on somebody, and turn them into, like, a zombie warrior. I mean, that shit could have been useful. Kirby said Grandmaster looks like Indui from Marvel Contest of Champions. Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Marvel Contest of Champions, because Grandmaster called his gladiator fights the Contest of Champions. So it is entirely possible that the Grandmaster is just supposed to be Indui. I could totally see that being a thing. A matter of fact, Indui gassed, then I just have to type in Jeff at the end and see if the Jeff Goldblum thing comes up. Hey, look at that. Grandmaster is Indui Glast. Jeff Goldblum. They're the same guy. So, I mean, that makes sense. What you said is true. Very much so. Let's see. Oh, and Jeff Goldblum, my dad really liked his performance. I feel like in some parts, Jeff Goldblum's character was fine. In other parts, I felt like he was going a little too far, like he was just pushing it a little bit. But he was tolerable. He wasn't like an intolerable character. Kirby said, must go faster. Fuck, what am I thinking about? Thor Ragnarok. Oh, okay, so the woman that's in the trailers, that's not Hela, was revealed to be a Valkyrie. And she's kind of like Thor's new love interest. It's established that, Thor always looked up to Valkyries, and that him and Jane broke up because I guess they decided they're never getting, can't remember her name for the life of me. His love interest wasn't Mila Kunis, right? I don't remember. Whoa, it's coming to me. His love interest was Padme, I think. Fucking Google. Jane Foster, who were you? Who were you? Who played you? Actress. Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman. Fuck me. Kirby said, please tell me that the Grandmaster said must go faster. If he did, I didn't pick up on it. My apologies. It would have been nice if I had, like, read Thor Ragnarok before I saw the film Thor Ragnarok and tried to see, like... Oh, Kirby said that's Jeff's line. So it's something that Jeff Goldblum says, like, a lot. I thought it was, like, a Grandmaster quote is what you were hitting me up with, Kirby. Not that I'm aware of, no. I don't believe you said, must go faster. Stan Lee's character makes a cameo, and they've already established that Stan Lee's character is the same character in all his, like, appearances. Kirby said dablet, which is his catchphrase, like, oh no, kind of thing. That and dang it, CJ. Let's see. Thor Ragnarok. I guess I expected a lot of questions, but I guess I can't expect too many questions for a movie that just came out. Yep. Kirby said dablet is the same as damn it. Ooh, I prefer to say dang it. And you prefer to say dablet. I don't know why, but I don't really like the D word that much. I'm more prone to like drop the F-bomb more than I think any other curse word, which is interesting. So Thor Ragnarok, the Valkyrie thing. Yeah, so Thor teams up with the Valkyrie, Loki, and Hulk in order to face off against Hela in the final battle or whatever. And they call their team the Revengers. That's also another thing that's like in the trailer for Thor Ragnarok. That they do the whole like, we'll be the Revengers. Doctor Strange didn't have as big of a role in Thor Ragnarok as I would have liked. They do establish, though, that Doctor Strange is nobody to fuck with. I already had my whole like theory about how powerful Doctor Strange was when it came to the sling ring and how you can kind of sling ring people to just straight up dick on them. Kirby said the Revengers. I wonder where that came from. When your boy Thor has no original ideas. But Doctor Strange, it's interesting to tier him, because I already knew that Doctor Strange was like too powerful for his own good, but he was able to like teleport himself and Thor just on a whim, like not even sling ringing. It would just be like Doctor Strange wants to be in a different part of the sanctum, so he just is, and so is Thor against Thor's will, and they just suddenly appear there, and they just keep doing that, just flashing like through the sanctum. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful to be able to just grab someone like that and pull them with you somewhere. And it was disorienting for Thor like each time, though of course Thor was also drinking, so there is that. His constitution was a little it was affected at the time. Let's see. Doctor Strange demonstrated that you could push a sling ring portal, which is something that we kinda saw in the Doctor Strange film, and I've talked about it a little bit on Reddit with people, that like the idea that he can make the sling ring portal and then he can like push the portal towards you kind of thing. But we straight up see it. We straight up see it happen in Thor Ragnarok, and that makes Doctor Strange a little too good. Kirby said drinking plus random teleportation must lead to a great time. It actually made Thor stop drinking. At least for that scene. It's not like he quit alcohol or anything. Oh, speaking of which, the Valkyrie has a hard drinking problem as well. And Thor goes as far as to say that he thinks that, like, if she was to keep drinking as she was throughout the film, that she would probably die, which is interesting. Um, that was one thing that I'm not sure if it's ever been explained in the Thor films, like how their mortality works, and how like death affects them. But it seems like a lot of niggas died, considering that like Asgard was destroyed. A lot of the Asgardians were saved, but a lot of the major Asgardians that we've seen get dicked on. So that was interesting. Kirby said Valkyries are goddesses of war. He says they can't die. She was the last Valkyrie. All the other Valkyries have been killed by Hela. It seems like people can die. Like, plenty of Asgardians die. Hela kills like a whole army of Asgardians. Hela also killed all the Valkyries but one of them. Odin died just because. I guess he was just fucking old. Him dying was just kind of random, and it's very coincidental. Like, Thor and Loki find Odin. Odin gives them a speech. Odin dies just right then. He's just like, my time has come. Peace. So they can definitely die, and Odin's death is like early on in the film. So it's very quickly established, like, hey, these people definitely are dying. I mean, look at Odin die. Odin died right then. Were you gonna tell me that nigga was old? All of them are old. They're all old. That's not like a reasonable excuse for him to die. Kirby said Valkyrie is in Norse mythology, which makes sense considering the fact that like Asgard and Thor and Loki and Odin are all also like Norse mythological figures. Yeah, I don't know. Marvel Cinematic Universe does a lot of interesting things. I would like to see the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe fight each other that we've seen so far demonstrate how powerful they are. So Peter Quill, before he destroyed his godlike abilities, versus Doctor Strange versus Ant-Man. I still don't think Thor is within their caliber, because Ant-Man dicks on people too hard. He just takes you to like the sub-quantum dimension or whatever, and then you're kind of fucked. But you could argue that if Doctor Strange was shrunk to that like sub-quantum dimension, he could just like sling ring himself out. So Ant-Man can't really dick on Doctor Strange in that way, but he can dick on like most other characters by doing that. So Ant-Man versus Doctor Strange, I say Doctor Strange dicks on Ant-Man. Peter Quill being like godlike, I don't know, Doctor Strange is too good. I think Doctor Strange is like the highest tier we've seen so far. He's really fucking broken, especially if you give him like the Eye of Agamotto. Get the fuck out of here. I think I just called it Agamotto. The Eye of Agamotto. Is that how you say it? Is it Motto or Moto? Eye of Agamotto. Eye of Agamotto. Not sure. Kirby said, I guess Valkyries choose who dies and who lives in wars, so them dying is kind of weird. Fair enough. Gods dying in fiction, I think, is always kind of weird. It has like a shaky feel to it. Kirby said, Eye of Agamotto. Okay, so it is Motto. Solid. Beams of Ballsack. Fucking Marvel versus Capcom reference. Let's see. Woo. Doctor Strange being really powerful, I guess, was one of my personal highlights. Because he is hella broken in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I wonder how you can have any actual conflict when Doctor Strange exists. Doctor Strange puts Loki in a sling ring portal. He makes the portal form under Loki. Loki doesn't appear until later on, of which a new sling ring portal is opened and Loki falls out of it. Loki reveals that he had been falling for 30 minutes straight. Doctor Strange sent Loki somewhere where you perpetually fall. Or, at the very least, you can fall for half an hour. Like, I think that's incredibly ridiculous. Because if you can do shit like that, then, like, what is anyone going to do against you? Especially because he just kind of cheap shot at Loki. And as long as you can cheap shot people and you just make them, like, infinitely fall, like, get fucked, person who's infinitely falling. And let's argue that, like, he sends someone who can fly, like, through the portal. Either by making a portal appear below them and they fall in, or making the portal appear above them and they fly up by mistake. Then, even if you fly, you're just like in an empty void, right? That just goes down and down and down and up and up and up forever. So, yeah, you're still just cucked. Kirby said he took the fall in despair. SpongeBob references. I do remember the infinite SpongeBob falling thing. Isn't that like a Flying Dutchman related episode that happens in? Boom, 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 boom. SpongeBob Fall of Despair. Is it called the Fall of Despair in SpongeBob? The Fly of Despair. Oh, where Squidward fell and they had the spaghetti and meatballs. I remember that. Yep, Loki got Fly of Despair as fuck. Also, you can find on YouTube a video called Ward Squid Falls Through the Fly of Despair for 10 minutes. I imagine it's just a loop. That's pretty great. So, Thor Ragnarok. I would say that it was a really good film. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's, like, better than my top Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. But I really did enjoy the amount of, like, violence and action. They really, like, stepped their game up, and I feel like they outdid Kingsman, which I thought would have been a challenge. If you had asked me what film do I think would have had more action before seeing either movie, Kingsman: The Golden Circle or Thor Ragnarok, I would have been like, Kingsman: The Golden Circle should have, like, topped the first Kingsman action. But I feel like the first Kingsman with the Harry scene was just so good action-wise that they couldn't have topped themselves. So Kingsman: The Golden Circle, while still being a great film, wasn't, like, on the same action level or better than the first Kingsman film. They have a lot of creative action scenes in Golden Circle, but I don't think it was, like, the same par. And then Thor Ragnarok is probably the best action-based Marvel Cinematic Universe film I've seen. Like, just going by, like, action and fights and keeping that, like, good pace and having just bam, 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 and having a bunch of creative fights and having a bunch of simultaneous fights. It was just fucking great. Kirby said, fucking machine gun briefcase. Yep. If you have not seen Kingsman: The Golden Circle yet, I'd recommend it. I enjoyed it. Would I say Kingsman: The Golden Circle was, like, one of the best movies of the year or anything like that? No. Only because of the fact that the year is too early. It's too early. If I had to... What is my favorite movie from this year? Actually, that's a good point. Like, without knowing what my favorite movie of this year was, I won't really be able to rate this movie in comparison. I honestly really enjoyed Transformers. And I know that's like, ew, what? But Transformers was really good. I had incredibly low expectations for Transformers. And to have left it after having, like, skipped the Transformers movie that was before it, like, I didn't even see that film, right? I was able to walk into that Transformers film, thoroughly enjoy it. It had a really nice, like, pacing to it, and I liked what they did with the story and everything. I thought it was cool. But is Transformers my favorite film of this year? I'm not sure. Kirby said Deadpool, but Deadpool isn't from this year, Kirby. Dun dun dun! Deadpool is from last year. Yeah, Kirby said, oh wait, crap, that's 2016. Yep, Deadpool is 2016. So Transformers was a really good film this year. Spider-Man Homecoming was really good as well. I remember rating Spider-Man Homecoming, like, around where Transformers was. Spider-Man Homecoming was like a comedy. It was like a teen comedy film. And then Thor is like a fantasy sci-fi film. So I feel like Thor has some bias, like, on my side. I can't fairly be like, yo, Thor is better in this way, because Thor just was a really different type of movie. If I had seen Valerian, I would have compared Valerian and Thor Ragnarok to each other because they're closer films. Um, Kirby said, I'll say It then, even though I haven't watched it. I also haven't seen It, so I can't compare it to It. I would say Transformers is probably the only sci-fi fantasy film I've seen this year. If you don't count Guardians of the Galaxy 2, probably would be better for me to compare Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to Thor Ragnarok, to which I would argue Thor Ragnarok was better. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 wasn't able to live up to the first film. It wasn't a bad movie in any way, but it wasn't up there. Thor Ragnarok is legitimately the best Thor film we've ever had, while Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the worst Guardians of the Galaxy film we've ever had. Kirby said favorite movie ever comes from 2015 for him. If I had to say favorite movie ever, let's see. My favorite films of all time are like Gremlins, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and The Other Guys. I'm really into comedy, for the most part, it seems, based on that list. And I really like the Critters films as well. The Critters are like Gremlins, but it's like more sci-fi fantasy. But it still has like, it takes itself a little bit more seriously than Gremlins does. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Critters is significantly more serious than Gremlins. It's like serious Gremlins is like what Critters is like. And similar, I have a similar vein for Daddy's Home. Like, Other Guys is really good, and then Daddy's Home is like, what if we took like the comedic charm of like the duo from Other Guys and we just put them in like another movie. So I really like Daddy's Home because I like Other Guys. I really like Critters because I like Gremlins. And I really like... Wow, that went straight over my head. What the fuck? Fantastic Mr. Fox was made by a guy who made another movie, and I really like that other movie because it's a lot like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I can't remember that shit for the life of me. Similar movie? What the fuck was it? Not Robin Hood. Don't give me that shit. Just because they both have foxes. But not a cartoon. That's gonna really get at me. Let me pay attention to what Kirby's saying. Kirby said Pixels. He said, oh my goodness, the nerdgasm, eye candy, with a play-along app to go with it. There's a play-along app to go with the Pixels film. Also, interesting that Pixels is your favorite movie. I enjoyed Pixels. I know people who really didn't like Pixels, but I felt like the movie was, at the very least, okay. I don't think it was, like the best movie ever, but I don't think Pixels was bad. I feel like people who say Pixels is bad is kind of being unfair to Pixels. Pixels was fine. Holy fuck. Who made Fantastic Mr. Fox? But I want who made the Fantastic Mr. Fox film, because they're the people, well, that's the person, Wes Anderson. Okay, Wes Anderson did another movie, and I really liked it. And it had the same thing as the other movie. Moonrise Kingdom has the same style, well, not the same visual style, well, kind of, like, it has the same cinematography and, like, comedic tone of Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is interesting. Kirby said, I just did my first desk pop. Fucking ass. Kirby, it took me a solid moment to understand the Other Guy's reference. That's a wooden gun, smack. Fucking Other Guys is so great, Kirby. Kirby, there's a new app made by the people who made Tumblr. My hand looks really big now on camera. And the app allows you to watch things with your friends, is the whole concept. Tumblr new app, watch videos, is what I'm Googling. But I think we should do that. Cabana app. Cabana app. So you hang out with your friends and you watch stuff as the whole app. But I'm curious, do you watch YouTube videos? Do you watch Netflix? What all do you watch on Cabana? Do you watch Yahoo Video? That would be the real cancer. Oh my gosh. Cabana is Tumblr's new app for hanging out and watching stuff. Video chat with up to 5 of your friends while watching YouTube videos together. I support this app. It is a great fucking idea. It's anytime, anywhere. It's just you and people you like, so you're already camera ready. Hang out, video chat with up to 5 of your friends, watch stuff. Watch YouTube videos together while you chat. Okay, Kirby, I think we should start using Cabana and do a thing where we watch YouTube videos together and then we live stream us watching the YouTube videos and we can react to stuff together. Kirby said, chat this app's name. I'll do you better, my friend. I will chat you the URL, which has the word pineapple in it. You love pineapples, Kirby. Check out the Cabana app. This is not a paid thing at all. I'm not getting paid by Cabana. If only. Please put a Cabana ad on it. I've said it too many times. Put a Cabana ad on this video so that I can be paid for saying Cabana so many times. Cabana, 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 Cabana. But I think this is a cool idea. There have been websites that have had this concept in the past. So I'm interested to see how well this works, like, as an app. So I'm excited for it, at the very least. But the only reason why I bring up Cabana now, rather than at any other time, is the fact that what we're doing right now is similar to what we would do on Cabana, except for the fact that we're not simultaneously watching it while talking about it. Kirby's just straight up downloading it now. I've yet to download it. Oh, Kirby. This is off topic from Thor Ragnarok, but we're also almost an hour into the stream, so I think we have some liberties to go off topic. Pre-register the new Naruto game if you can. It's not out yet, but it's Naruto X Boruto. Ninja Voltage. It's looking hella fleek. Holy shit. It goes from, like, Naruto Shippuden to Boruto, which is like which is like the current series. And you build fortresses and you storm other people's fortresses, and you use your ninja powers, and it looks fucking great. You know I'm gonna stream it. I'm already pre-regging. I already have pre-regged. So I'm gonna also post that in the chat. I think that game's gonna be fun as fuck. And yes, it is by Bandai Namco, straight up. So it's gonna be official, and hopefully for free. I would be disappointed if it was not free. But again, Thor Ragnarok, all in all, I do feel like Thor Ragnarok is a good film. It is not the best film in the world, nor is it the worst film of all time. So Thor Ragnarok, if I had to give it a 1, 2, or 3, I would give it a 2. So on a 6-star scale, I would give it a 4 out of 6 stars, which isn't bad. On a 9-star scale, I would give it a 6 out of 9. So then if I was to make it a 10-star scale, it would get a 6.5 out of 10. So it would get a 65. I would give Thor Ragnarok a 65 out of 100. There you go. That was an interesting way to get that scale going. Kirby said, hey, where did the Matty Fucks go? Matty Fucks is a 7 scale. So we're going backwards from 10. We learned that on a 6 scale, like out of 6 stars, I would give it a 4. So on a 7 scale, I would give it a 4.5. So 4.5 Matty Fucks out of 7. So hey, that's pretty good. It definitely is. My opinion is kinder the smaller number of like stars given. So out of 7 Matty Fucks, I would give it a 4.5. Out of 6 Matty Fucks, I would just give it a 4. 4 Matty Fucks out of 6. So yeah, that's the Matty Fuck scales. Speaking of which, Maddie was in a car accident yesterday. She's fine. She's just a little sore. But I learned about that, like, really, really recently. Like, as in, like, maybe an hour ago. I'm glad that she's doing fine, though. She didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. She didn't wreck her car. Her mom's car got totaled. But I'm glad that Maddie is fine. Since we mentioned Matty Fucks, I decided that this would be a good time for me to talk about that. So I'm glad that she's doing okay. And I saw her earlier today, and like didn't even know that she was in a car accident the day before. Like she's doing like hella well. Kirby said, "Well, crap," and it's like, you know, stuff happens. The important thing is that she's fine. You know what I mean? Well, so Kirby, what do you think of this Thor Ragnarok video? If you had to rate this video, what would you rate it out of 5 stars? Or out of 7 Matty Fucks? Hey. I'm actually pretty curious. Considering that this was like a Jet and Kirby production here, this was just me and you going back and forth for like almost an hour. Oh, also, I'm still behind on that one book that I was writing. I've started writing another book. The other book that I'm writing, by the way, is an RPG book. So look out for another RPG book coming at some point. But anyways, I'm not sure what Kirby's up to. There we go. Kirby said, thumbs up to the camera, except there isn't a camera. I was wondering what was that hard silence. But yeah, thank you, Kirby. I legitimately couldn't have done this video without you. Because I really do need another person to discuss with whenever I talk about a movie, or else I find myself being derailed. But at least when I get derailed while talking to another person, that we kind of can keep each other on some kind of a track. But thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like this video, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that bell so you'll be notified whenever we do these live streams. What did you think of Thor Ragnarok? Make sure to post in the comment section below any questions that you have concerning the Thor Ragnarok movie, my opinion, your own opinion. I make sure to reply to all comments, and beware if you go into the comment section, because the comment section should be just as filled with spoilers as the video itself is. Kirby said, "Gotta keep the pineapples in the basket." Yo, Kirby, you should rate things based on like number of pineapples. I think that would be cool. That would be a nice little Kirby thing. But thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Have a great night, everyone. Peace.